Peggy Drexler Setting aside flat-out predators, some men let gender role confusion override knowing right from wrong. Drexler Thats no longer an excuse, and all of society needs to make this crystal clear to men and women. Own possible explanation points to a deeply ingrained, hard-to-shake and society-wideism that teaches men that women are less dominant. Many men and women, for that matter, still believe men do the asking out and the chasing, often, to the paying for dinner. Setting aside the flat-out predators who walk among us, this misunderstanding of men's roles may lead some men, especially those in the throes of UAL attraction, to let their desires override their intellect and their knowledge of what is wrong and what is right. It would be nice to imagine that, in 2017, ism is an outdated notion in the main. After all, this is the same culture that created not just The Bachelor but also The Bachelorette. Times have changed, right? As Harvey Weinstein put it in his official statement, "I came of age in the 60s and 70s, when all the rules about behavior in workplaces were different. That was the culture then. And yet there's so much evidence it's the culture now, too. We've only got to look at the defeat of a highly qualified, highly prepared, definitely female presidential candidate by a less qualified male opponent himself. Let's not forget, accused of UAL assault by multiple women, he denies it as proof that ism lives on. That he largely based his campaign on bluster and bullying and was elected by 52% of men and 41% of women only strengthens the point." Another explanation for the problem of UAL harassment, and one that similarly has roots in ism, is that we still have a hard time defining or agreeing on what constitutes UAL harassment and assault. A small recent survey by castling app Instamotor found that many men aren't clear on what UAL harassment is. 2 in every 3 men surveyed didn't think repeated unwanted invitations to drinks, dinner, or dates was UAL harassment. 1 in 5 didn't think UAL harassment should be a fireable offense. What's more, many such behaviors are learned. In one story that ran on NPR, a reformed catcaller described growing up seeing older men he admired holler at women in his Brooklyn neighborhood. "All my life I heard girls are cats and boys are dogs," he said. Hollering at women on the street was what guys were supposed to do, or so I thought. Certainly, many of the accusations we've all been hearing over the past week seem to extend well beyond gray areas. But if there is confusion about those gray areas, that is, what defines harassment at all, it's possible there could be confusion about what is absolutely off-limits, and what is, perhaps, part of some men's archaic or delusional idea of the male-female mating dance. No woman asks to be assaulted or harassed or touched in a manner that makes her feel uncomfortable. And yet, how else to explain the Bush family spokesman admitting the former president of the United States would often pat women's rears in a good-natured manner as David Copperfield? Which means we need to do a better job making damn sure every single man and woman is clear about what constitutes inappropriate behavior. That's hopefully what the current conversation will do. In addition to holding men accountable for their past actions, it will open up dialogue so that misunderstanding is no longer an acceptable excuse. Because let it be known, whether you're a man or a woman, good-natured reparting of someone you aren't 100% sure would welcome it is never as good-natured as you might like to believe.